All hail Biafra. This is Biafra Liberation Army Network coming to you again. Please like, share, and comment.
Having a very, very big news, a gigantic news at that. So, ebe obini no biko baro diaba because nanke duku emela. Update I wanted now, but now Mazi Nnamdi Kanu has written a letter to President of the United States of America, Donald Trump, J. So he wrote this letter regarding the oppression and the persecution on him currently ongoing at the Federal High Court in Abuja. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, almost 5 to 6 pages of letter. All the oppression on Indibo, oppression on him. We now about Donald Trump. No, this thing in a fight. See, Kamua bidoro na fight. See, Haji Wemurum Tina Poro. The letter send the gate to US. I'm talking to you now. This letter gave Donald Trump aka within time echi. Only the higher then I am Mazi the way, the routes, this whole thing they take. Is that this sanction, this declaration on Nigeria will take another dimension. That prophet in Kurumatiano to post video. I said, this thing got like this. This particular thing only about. Also, if Bena Sorok got like this, or like this, before they will trace it, all land go and see, and that is what is currently happening. I said it here that this declaration aimed on Nigeria as a country of particular concern will actually move from what it is to something bigger. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu's case now, I get in here among the topic because it's also an oppression. It's no longer a court proceeding or justice because they have dented the judicial system on the case of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. Because this man have been granted, freedom from the appeal courts. A Kenyan court came out to say that his rendition was illegal. He came to court again, accepted to stand trial, but on a condition that you show him the law or disobey, the law that is backing the charges on him. No law to present. He concluded that if there is no law, there is no case. And he is standing on that. Onumane echi ka afia omotosho sino nyir Mazi Nnamdi Kanu deadline. Ka imanu mombo echi ruru okporo Mazi Nnamdi Kanu tie na mkporo or sentence ya by hanging. Ka imazi mo genia now. Ono hapu mkpo ani na eti. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu ga enwere onwe ya. Look for somewhere and write it because echi now before tomorrow nge wetere unu update ife ga emekwa because I'm a system and that. But with the step Mazi Nnamdi Kanu they take now, something new is going to happen on this whole thing. Uno manatinibo apatabugo ne timpu, no on the iPod, the Gary US, all these things that is actually turning against him. And this thing is threatening his political career ahead of the 2027 election. Even a lawyer Jimako Kuriasia, Moabu no free on Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. He should forget about the Southeastern votes. Or feel any no game memo without the Southeastern votes. Because you can't be oppressing Mazi, and this is no longer a judicial kind of process. This thing now identical the whole process. Alright, and I'm going through the social media space, now Twitter, where for this particular tweet from Barrister Aloy Ejimako. And the update says, breaking, ahead of tomorrow's crucial court hearing, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu writes President Trump, real Donald Trump, attaching 7 weighty annexures. So if I have an update I know for now, and it is trending all over the social media space, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu Dejaru, Donald Trump, open letter, we biana akawai fenine, all the operation and at the Federal High Court that is ongoing and will resume tomorrow. So right now, just read one of the paragraph, just one. There are almost 5 to 6 pages now this particular letter. Let me just read one of the paragraph. I will zoom in for you guys to see there on Guptaronia. He said in this place, I, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, IPOB, a peaceful, non-violent civil rights movement rooted in Judeo-Christian principle since 2015. I have survived 4 documented assassination attempts by the Nigerian state. On the 20th June 2021, I was forcibly abducted from Kenya in an extraordinary rendition, corporation, an act that violated Kenya and international law, as condemned by a Kenyan High Court ruling, petition number E282 of 2021. Despite this ruling, I was illegally transported to Nigeria and thrown into solitary detention in Abuja without a valid subsisting charge, and for the sole crime of defending my people's right to life, faith, and self-determination under international law. So Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, almost 6 paragraphs. We now cover Donald Trump, all the oppression, not just only on him, but on the Indibo, on Biafrans, on the indigenous people. He stated everything. And from this move now, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, that this Donald Trump's declaration will take a new measure. It is not just going to be a declaration on Nigeria for the Christians that are being killed. It's going to be a declaration for also the restoration of this Biafra movement. A video on play ready for you to understand what I'm actually talking about. Now, a video of this particular man. This man is making series of video calling on the attention of J. Donald Trump. Continue on no Biafra. Agwaramu movement now be a twist from fighting for the persecuted Christians, the persecuted indigenous people, to fighting for the liberation of Ndana persecutes. Yes. So watch this particular video. You know this what this statesman said about Biafra. If you open this video, I don't want to talk much. You watch, see the video. A bumper to sa video can does always survive with fear. Please take your time. Watch the video. There's something you need to hear in this video. Enjoy the rest of the videos. I will be right back.
Dear friends from Biafra, I want to thank you all for following me so much, and I want to talk about Nigeria, so-called ex-Nigeria. Please use this term ex-Nigeria. And please, Nigeria is the Yugoslavia of Africa. Please, it is absolutely vital to study the role model of former Yugoslavia, of ex-Yugoslavia. It was also a powerful state in its time. For 40 years it was a prison of nations. It was horror and terror, striking terror in the Austrians and in the neighbors' minds and hearts. And everybody was afraid, internal and external, of Yugoslavia. And, by the way, have you heard about it recently? No, it fell apart, it's no more, it's over and out. And there are 7 new states out of this terrible horror prison of nations. The ex-Yugoslavia, the ex-Nigeria, here's the parallel. Also, when there will be more states developing out of ex-Nigeria, like Biafra Republic, similar to Kosovo, it will be wonderful to have it, and you will be living much better. And this I can only recommend you to follow that role model. NATO-led intervention, support measures, independence referendum, Fellinger economics, Fellinger doctrine. This is the way, and it is already done in Kosovo. You can do it as well. It works very well. The American support is, of course, essential, and you have it with Ted Cruz and the President yesterday's message. And then, of course, the Declaration of Independence you did already. Now it must be internationally recognized and then, of course, established. Yeah? If you have to fight for, like the Croatians, that will be necessary. If you have to fight for, like in Kosovo, it was peaceful. It was peaceful, and that was maybe the moment to have the Ibrahim Rugova for Biafra, and then to follow in that direction, and to resist against the Nigerian state institutions, and always to use the role model of ex-Yugoslavia and breakup, because it has led to the prosperity of the new countries which are now in NATO and in the EU. Slovenia, Croatia, extremely successful countries. Less successful maybe Bosnia and Kosovo, but rising very fast because they were extremely poor. And now they are really decent countries. I know them very well. I worked and lived in many of them. And this is the role model for ex-Nigeria. It will be much better. Because why? You have a state which you like. You share the responsibilities. It will defend you. You can live in and invest in prosperity, and there will be no harm done to anybody in Biafra, and that will be much better, of course. Then you want to invest. You have the diaspora investment. You do all the mechanisms which we have done in Eastern Europe so successful in ex-Yugoslavia. We know exactly how to do it. Come and study how it was in Kosovo, Montenegro, Macedonia, and of course in Serbia. That will be the rump state of mini Nigeria. And there will be it will be a substantial state, it will be absolutely viable, and so will be Biafra. So please have no fear, it was all done before. Study the role model of ex-Yugoslavia for ex-Nigeria and work for freedom, and study what was done in Kosovo by advisors like me, and it was very successful, and it can be the same for Biafra. The time is now, freedom will come, ex-Nigeria is coming. Please recognize the Biafra Republic.